Hi everybody, and welcome along to another slice of Retro Bear Life here on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. If you are here for the very first time, thank you very much for stopping by and having a look. If you have enjoyed, if you do enjoy what you're about to see, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe and tick that notification bell for further uploads. If by some weird chance you're back here again, then obviously you've got the message. Thank you very much indeed for your continued support. This is going to be pretty much the usual stuff that we do. Got pickups, a couple of bits of news as well. You'll notice that I've got a good game on the back. Yes, you know, I do buy good games. So quick look at that one. And this is Harvest Moon, Tree of Tranquility on the Wii. Hasn't got the disc in it because that's in the machine. But yeah, it was a great sort of pickup here because it's got a Club Nintendo which wasn't used. Manuals in pretty good condition. I think there were 3 Harvest Moon games. This one there was Magical Medley or something, which I've also got, and there was another one which I don't appear to have. But I've never played a Harvest Moon game before, so I'll sort of get a bit closer with that one. Focus ish. Oh well, there we go. Anyway, you know what it looks like. Also as well, bit of a special day today. Today is the 50th anniversary of the very first episode of Sesame Street. Now unfortunately we couldn't get anybody in here special, so we had to make do with this giant muppet with the goggly eyes and the fur. But there's always an excuse to dig this one out, which is Sesame Street's Ready Set Grover, which also came out on the Wii. I think this is an Australian only because it's got the G rated down the bottom there. And you'll notice that it's got in a free Grover Wiimote cover, which I've not taken out of the box. And I know this inspired a couple of people to go and buy this game. But there we go. So in tribute to Sesame Street, and let's be honest with you, most of us have watched probably Sesame Street at least once in our lives, and found it way more interesting than something like Rainbow or Puddle Lane or Button Moon when we were kids. Anyway, so that's it. So yes, so I've got bits of news first of all. You probably would have known by now, I was won the YouTuber of the Month award for October or November, depending on which way you look at it. I say October because it was during the month of October. I believe it was actually the winner for November. Oh, I don't know. I won anyway. So there's a video in my special events section on the channel front which you'll find there, which is basically the video explaining about that, or also my nominees for the next month. So go along and have a look at that. Just want to say thank you again very much for everybody who went across and voted for me. Very grateful, very touched, very humbled by your support for that, and so many of you went across and did it, and you didn't have to. You know, bear in mind you didn't have to. So yeah, words fail me really, but in a good way. So thank you very much indeed for that. I'm not going to bring that up again now. That's it there. I will go forward to the end of year contest. So we'll see what happens there when we get to that. There's a bit of a dogfight going on for this month's because I nominated 5 channels which appear to have got quite a lot of support for all of them. Near enough, I think. So yeah, go along, have a look at that video. It's in the special events section of my videos, my playlist, and you'll see the little skit I did with Do You Know there. I'm not going to make reference to it here, but you can go along and have a look at that if you want to. Also as well, if you also noticed that the video that went up early on this week, which was like a little sort of compilation video, which I had a lot of fun putting together. It's about 3.5 hours on Wednesday afternoon, I think it was, this week. I've been off work. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work to do, and I'd like to say it was all sort of beautifully edited together and it timed everything in time with the music. No, it didn't. It was just take some footage and splice them together. There was no rhyme or reason for it apart from getting the hats in, the fishing rod in, Tony Hawk's in, and a couple of the horse game as well. Get all those sort of things in there. But yeah, it worked really. I was really proud of that video, and again, thank you for everybody who's had a quick look at that one as well. It's also on the title page of the featured content thing. When people put a short video up there, I'll replace it with something else sooner or later. It's also there as well if you want to have a look at it there. It's about 4.5, 5 minutes long. Just a bit of fun, but I'm very, very proud of that, and it's great because you can actually see the evolution of where I've been in the last 18 months. It all sort of ties in with winning that vote for October or November. And sort of ending up there, so having gone from sort of sat where I'm sort of looking at the moment off a pretty poor quality webcam. You'll see it on the footage. You'll see how the footage changes over it, and then all of a sudden, about halfway through, it sort of comes to this sort of quality, and then the different angles I've used and the way around the room, and you can just sort of see it. It's just great, and I'm sitting thinking, yeah, I've got better. You don't think I'm doing anything different? I think I'm doing anything. This time last year, I was probably talking to about 10 to 30 people a week. At the moment, it's sort of like way more than that. 10 times as many people are doing that. And in terms of the subscribers, 10 times as many of those as well. I think this time last year I was sort of in the 30s. And I'm sort of in the 290s now, which is mind-blowing, really. And they go from 100 in April to where I am now. Yeah, it's great. So it's encouragement, and I always say to other channels that are starting out, and other channels that have started out, just keep at it. Keep putting content on there, and you'll find that people will pick up what you're doing, and comment on people who are doing the same sort of thing as you, because this is how I sort of started this year. Generating more interest. We're just sort of going to people who I noticed were watching all the videos I was, and then sort of watching what they were doing, and then so it's very much a case of watching me, watching you, watching them, watching us, and it sort of spirals around. It sort of goes around like that, and it just sort of generates. And there's some great channels out there which probably don't get the sort of the numbers that they should do. Which also leads me to the one shout out I'm going to do, and again, you've done me a lot of favours this year, you guys. It's oh God, you guys. The lovely people of YouTube, you have done me some great favours this year, and I'd like to ask for one more before the year is out, and that is to go along and have a look at. I always get I get his name wrong now as a point of humour. I think that joke's run its course now, but if you can go across and have a look at Sean's channel at Retro Games Revived, I'll put a link in the channel. Sean's wants to get, well, we're trying to get Sean to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. He's only been doing it, I think, 5.5 months, if that. And he's way ahead of where I was after 5.5 months, but we'd very much like to sort of see if we can get Sean up to 100. If you aren't already subscribed to Sean, why not? The guy is one of the most generous, kind-hearted human beings that I've ever come across in my entire lifetime. And also as well, he's doing some nice stuff. He's putting all this stuff into a lockup. He's doing some vlogs from there, and you can see his setup, and gets lots of pickups as well. He's doing some gameplay reviews, and he's doing everything he should be. Why is he not at 100 subscribers? I have no idea. So, hashtag Xmas for 100, or 100 for Xmas. I can't remember which one it was. It sounded good when I thought about it the other day. Anyway, go and see Sean's channel, link in the description, and let's try and get him to 100 before Christmas. That would really make his year, I think, really. He's absolutely wonderful chap. If you don't know him already, pop along and have a look. Right, so that's that out of the way. The last thing I want to mention as well is probably going to be trying to tart the graphics and things up as well maybe before the end of the year, maybe at the start of next year. I don't know yet. So, because I've been using a lot of these things now for about a year or so, and they're all right, but they're looking a little bit tired. I've had to play around with a new title card for the pickups. Pickups title card's been that way for about 12 months now. I want to try something a bit different. Mrs. B's been giving me hand with that, and she's very good at that sort of thing. And the thing is, I have all the ideas. I say, right, I've done this, and I show her what I've done. She goes, oh, no, you can, we can do this, twiddle it around a little bit, and with her graphic design knowledge, an eye for care and attention, which I don't have, we've managed to come up with something quite nice. So we're going to look at what the other things, the slidey graphics and bits and pieces, and just try and give the whole channel a bit of a lick of paint, really, as we go into the end of the year, into next year. And if more people are watching, and there's been an awful amount of churn in the last couple of weeks or so, or the past 6 weeks or so, there's a huge amount of churn numbers going through the channel. We'll try and keep people in if we can. Right, so glad we got that out of the way. Right, on to the next thing, which is going to be pickups. it's going to be another hour of video, isn't it? You're going to sit there thinking, oh, it's going to be another hour. Shut up, get on. Right. So yeah, pickups. This is the last Saturday in October. Oh, it's a 20. No, it's not. The first Saturday in November. 2nd of November. 2nd of November. Yeah, the first Saturday I was off work. That was it. 2nd of November. Just a trip to one town centre. Why was I only a trip to one town centre that day? I think because it wasn't a very nice day. I think I got out before the rain started, and then it wasn't particularly nice. And then also because I was off work, I went out on the Monday, which was the 4th, and there was nothing. So there's nothing from that day because there wasn't anything. And then on the Thursday, which would have been the 7th, some other bits and pieces from there. And they came from one other town centre. So I actually went to more unusual places, and this is basically the result of 3 trips. I didn't go Saturday the 8th because it was horrible. No, Saturday the 9th. I didn't go on Saturday night because the weather was horrible. So no pickups from there. So this is basically the culmination of the last sort of week and a bit. Yeah, well, we'll see how we get on, shall we? I'm not going to say anything yet. You can make your own mind up. Let's do some... I like to do it in order. So I do it in order I pick stuff up in, because that's a novelty, isn't it? I don't usually do it that way. Yes, do it that way. That way, if I say this Xbox 360, this is PlayStation 1, people watch that stuff and they move on. So I can make you wait. First one, charity shop, 20p a game, which is probably about what these things are worth. So what have we got? We got Band Hero on the Xbox 360. Fascinatingly enough, I don't own any plastic instruments for this game for that particular console. So why did I buy it? Because it was 20p. And it's actually quite a fun game to play. I don't know if you can see any of that on there. Probably not, it's too close. But yeah, it's a great little game. I played it on the PlayStation 3 and on the PlayStation 3 first of all. I'm just going to... secondary table. Oh, God. Damn it, Gene. Why don't you get these things out? There we go. Right. Anyway, yeah, so I played on PlayStation 3, really good fun. Played it on the Wii, really good fun. So I've got both sets of plastic guitars for those, which are down there somewhere, but I'm going to dig them out. But I don't have anything for like that for the Xbox 360, but it was 20p. I've got Guitar Hero World Tour for the Xbox 360 as well, because that was 50p. And then I also picked up in the same charity shop, You're in the Movies, which I think when it came out was horrendously expensive, and I'll quote the American price, so I did look it up today, $60. That's an insane amount of money to pay for a game. Very honest, this was when the Xbox came out, so the 360 came out, so what, 2006, 2007? Something like that. Maybe a bit earlier actually, because yeah, but you know, going back a few years, like $60 for that. I mean, that would be equivalent to what nowadays? Huge amounts of money. And of course, when I got home, I sort of found out they actually needed a camera to play it, and it doesn't play off Kinect because it wasn't Kinect ready. Although some early games that used the 360 camera did get a patch, this one didn't. It took me terrible, but it was 20p. So yeah, so 20p's. Then I went into cash converters and found some PlayStation 1 games. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing an awful lot of PlayStation 1 stuff knocking around the usual suspects. I've seen more in cash converters in the last month, 6 weeks than I've ever seen in there before. I'm seeing more, the odd one popping up in charity shop. I mean, when I was in that YMCA shop, the charity shop, the 2 Xbox 360 games, there was FIFA Road to the World Cup on the PlayStation 1, which was in a shocking state, but I'd already got it anyway. I think there was another couple as well, which are games I'd already got. Generic sports titles, but if they had been ones I hadn't got, I'd have picked them up. But I'm seeing more and more now, and then I picked up some more after that. So there was a lot of PlayStation 1 stuff kicking about. People, I think, not sure whether they're... Because the PlayStation 1 Classic, people have sort of found these things now and thought, oh, that must be worth a few quid, I'll get rid of those. And they've been sitting around the place for ages and not realising they're worth anything. I mean, some of the PlayStation 1 stuff is, you know, fairly collectible. There's a lot of the games as well. There's a huge amount of games in there. But anyway, but finding them in a perfect condition is another problem, which we'll come to in a second. So these were all 99p. So the first one I got was Carmageddon. Now this has already had the box swapped out, and the box for this one was actually sensationally cracked from ear to ear. ear to ear, ear to ear. I've never seen a basically a swing door opening PlayStation 1 box before. But surprisingly enough, despite the fact that the outside was completely crap, the inside was actually pretty good. And also the back was good on it. So I don't think it's anything particularly special for it. There is also a bit of, I think, French possibly on the front there. But again, it's got 4 different languages on the back, so it could be anything. But yeah, I mean, obviously know the game Carmageddon, know its history, but never actually played it, so that's quite good. Now this one was an upgrade on one I had, which was V Rally. I've got the Platinum version, so I've now upgraded to the Black Label one. And the Platinum version will be moved on. Issue though, there was a cracked case on this one, a slight crack down the bottom, which means it's flaming difficult to open. There we go, managed to do it. Interestingly enough, it's got a macro stamp there. Those of you familiar with the wholesaler macro over here in the UK will know what that means. I mean, I used to have a macro card. In fact, I think, memory serves me correctly, my PlayStation 3 Guitar Hero Aerosmith set came from macro all those years ago, and my Sony 32-inch LCD Bravia, which I've still got, which we bought in 2005. We got that from there because we kept being, what was the word, serenaded by this wonderful, because obviously at the time, hang on, story coming, at the time we had an old JVC CRT. We thought, well, we'll just upgrade the television. I mean, we spent £600-700, I think it was, on that. It's a ridiculous amount of money to spend on the television. We thought, we'll just buy this one and have this to ourselves. We bought this JVC. It might have been about 600. I can't remember, something like that. And the difference was unbelievable. But every time you saw it, it was just like this crystal clear picture. That was it's like, oh, we must have one of those. And as soon as we got it back, it was like, oh, it's giant, in the corner of the room. Amazing when you think something like that now, which is about 10 inches. I think that's a 42. Bigger than the one we were messing around with, anyway. Yeah, back to V Rally. Which is interesting because it's got a Sega Saturn label there on the top. I've got no idea where that comes from. But it does say PlayStation V Rally 32.99. Look at that. Wow. I'm not sure what to do. Well, that's only the Platinum version on. I'm not quite sure what to do because I noticed on the front cover of the Platinum it does actually say you get a couple of bonus cars with the Platinum version you didn't get with the Black Label version. I don't know. And V Rally, I played it a few weeks ago. I think it's aged as well as Colin McRae has. I think I played both recently, and I think Colin McRae's is handles and plays far better than V Rally does now. Could be wrong. I've got V Rally 2 as well, and I think I may have got V Rally 3. Yeah, I got V Rally 1, 2, and 3. Got 3 on the PlayStation 2. I did pick up a Platinum game. I don't usually pick up Platinum games, but I hadn't seen this one before or heard of it. And it's a sequel, because this is Moto Racer 2, which you may just see there, got the old Electronic Arts logo on it. That's before they changed the logo to EA. So I've never heard of this one before. I'm surprised it's a Platinum release. So obviously it must have done something in the first place. But again, this, all these PlayStation 1 games I've shown you here are 99p, and there's a decent box cover on the back. Yeah, it's dirt bike racing. It'd be quite good. I've got a couple. I've got a Jeremy McGrath game. McGrath. Driving around wearing his monocle and top hat. And I think I've got another. Is it International Moto X as well, which I've played. Is absolutely awful. I must go through some of these and play them again. And then finally, probably the one which I was most proud of throughout this half of the pickups anyway. If we get to part 2. And it's a double boxer PlayStation 1 release, which is always good, and I've got a few of those now. I've got the Help charity compilation, there's Metal Gear Solid, there's Mickey's Wild Adventure, it's Tekken 2, courtesy of my friend Pete, and now this one, which is True Pinball, which I paid 99p for, not 19.99. I'm desperately trying to remember where that 19.99 label comes from. I'm not sure whether it's bloody Macro again. I'm pretty sure it is. It's also made by Ocean, which is fascinating to make Ocean making pinball games. I'm not a massive fan of pinball. Computer version or actual sort of stand-up, putting money into it version. I'm even a less fan of this box because it's got manual in there and the disc. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But that manual is only for the English, French and German. And I've never seen this before. I've never seen a game where it's actually required to have 2 manuals. This one's got the Italian, the Spanish and the Dutch. So there's 2 manuals with this for 6 different languages. But there's also inside it as well was this, which is the... You're not going to be able to see that, so I don't get my fingers on it, but hang on. Multitask just a bit. Right, yeah, this is the Autumn Winter demo disc, which was tucked in the back. Now, just showing you this box. I don't think that was meant to be in there because there's no spindles. Only spindle on the front for the disc, which is on this side. In fact, that is the only spindle in this particular box there, on there. That is the only one there. So that disc I don't think should be in there. I'm not sure if I've got it on another release. I'm pretty sure I may have. But it's in very good condition, and I shall put that back in there and keep them all together. But it's a very good box. I mean, there's no actual damage to that box whatsoever. There's a little scuff mark on the front, but I mean, it's a scuff mark, isn't it? I mean, the hinges are fine. There's no cracking on it. It's a good condition one. 99p, I think that was a decent pickup just for the double box. I'm not sure if it's particularly rare or collectible. I don't think it would be, because I've picked it up. But anyway, that's still working. I'm just wondering about... yeah, I've had terrible problems. I had the Xbox 360 set up because I've been playing that a little bit lately. And of course, I mentioned on my last video, not last video, the last pickups video I did, it kept going into sort of like a screensaver. And I couldn't find out to turn the damn thing off. So I've had to switch consoles again. And I'm absolutely petrified now this is going to turn itself off at some point. I'm going to sleep. That's not the first time that would happen, would it? Right, so let's go from there. Where do we go from there? We go from there for there to there. Yeah, okay, here's one. Xbox, original Xbox. I say we're doing these and all. Actually, no, we're not. No, Xbox 360. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, which is better with Kinect. Yeah, I think it's... This is the sort of game that should be made for something like Kinect. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure there is a Harry Potter Kinect game. I'm pretty sure there is. Someone again who knows more about these things will likely correct me. But I think it should be great when you can, you should be able to play Harry Potter as you should do. Even though I hate Harry Potter, and be able to use the Kinect, and when you go dodecahedron and things like that, and whatever they shout. I would just say again, great, fascinating thing about this one. I'll just show you the disc. You've seen a disc before with Harry Potter print on it. It's got the manual with it, which is great. It's got an advert for Create, which I've got on the Wii, which I've yet to play, along with another 2,300 games. It also tells me that Harry Potter's and the Deathly Hallows is also on mobile. Probably not anymore, but what I found was great, and I didn't know that was there until I actually got it back. But in here, there is one of those augmented reality cards. Apparently, if I stand... if I go to a website, which may or may not actually exist anymore now, and hold this image up to your webcam for the magic to return. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to find that. It's actually a postcard. But yeah, nice to find it. Whether it works or not is something else, I don't know. So that's nice to find in there. That's the back of the box. How many Harry Potter games is that I've got now for the Xbox 360? Well, I think you'll find that's one. I think is that the first one I've got? Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, H is there. Yeah. So no, I haven't got that one. Any other Harry Potter games? So save myself that one. That was 99p. How much 99p's worth so far? Then when do we go after that one? I mean, a CX. A couple of titles there. One which I'm really surprised I hadn't got, but I'm pretty sure now. And someone's told me there's either 12 or 13 games in this series on the Xbox, original Xbox, and one of them is only an American exclusive. So I think I'm up to 11 now. I may either have or I'm missing one. In the Tom Clancy series, and this is Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. And it's also got this on the 360. So I find it fascinating that this came out on the 360 and they were still making it for the original Xbox. Why do I find that fascinating? Oh, I don't know. I just do. Another Xbox Live membership not been scrubbed off. I think I'm probably not far off Nath Retro 1's timeline on that one. About 4 years worth of Xbox Live trials. That did expire 10 years ago anyway, and there's the back of it. It doesn't look a bad game at all, to be honest with you. I'm just surprised I missed that one. But yeah, I just find it interesting that this was actually released at the same... When you find games are released, if that was released on the PlayStation 2 and the Wii at the same time, I wouldn't have been surprised. But because they're the same generation. But if that's on the Xbox original, and it's also then released on the 360, and it's going to be up there somewhere, probably there. That's where the Tom Clancy games are, so that's probably about there. That's the next generation up. So I find it very... are there instances of that? Or am I just sort of like trying to make this sound interesting when I'm just showing you a 50p game? I could be right. I could be right. I can't think of many other games. Let me know. Drop me a comment and put me right. Yeah, it's a challenge for you, isn't it? Shut the bear up and tell him what's going on. And the other game, which is the only Wii game I picked up that week, is Soul Calibur Legends. I am not a fan. No, I'm definitely not a fan of Soul Calibur at all. It's one of them, not a game I've got any particular interest in. But again, surprised to see I hadn't got this one before. I'm not sure. I mean, Soul Calibur to me is sort of side on fighting, but it actually looks to me like it may be a bit more of an RPG. Soul Calibur Legends is the third-person action adventure exclusively designed for the Wii console, so it's Wii exclusive. Lead Siegfried, a silly name for a hero, and other Soul Calibur favourites. Well, that's a point of order, isn't it? I mean, let's face it. You got any favourite Soul Calibur characters? I haven't. The one with the sword, and the quest for the ultimate power. Join the exclusive Untold story, fight against new and large-scale enemies, playing co-op with your friends, and use spirit break attacks to crush enemies. Which sounds quite interesting, but yeah, from Bandai Namco. Yeah, Namco. Always a good game. Yeah, so I don't know, £1.50 for that one, which I think was a big buy that week. But I haven't got that one. There aren't many I haven't got. Yeah, there aren't many. 50% I haven't got, but again, it's this remaining 50% I keep banging on about is going to get slightly more difficult because you don't see all those all the time. Most of these I see all the time. I don't see Soul Calibur Legends very often. So, and then finally from that day, which will take my spend to £8.40, cheap as chips. Although very expensive chips if they're £8.40, let's face it. We can get at least 3 mediums and a cone of chips for that round here. Moving on from advanced economics anyway, what we've got is Def Jam Fight for New York, which is a sort of game you can imagine me buying and tutting very loudly at all the time. Because it contains two of my least favourite genres, fighting games, and with as much respect to you know, sort of hip-hop, rap music nowadays, that sort of stuff. I grew up with Public Enemy and that sort of genre. None of the stuff they do now. Here's the back of the box. Fight for control of hip-hop's underworld. And it says here, featuring more than 40 hip-hop superstars. Well, okay, so play along at home. If you just, raise your hand if you come at, any of these people I'm about to read out. I should try and be quick. Bone Crusher, Bubba Sparks, Busta Rhymes, Capone, Carmen Electra. Is she a hip-hop superstar? I've heard of her. Comp, Crazy Legs. Wasn't that the cartoon in the Pink Panther show? Remember that one with the crane? Wasn't it him? He had a singing career. Danny Trejo. He's not a singer either. David Banner. The Hulk. DJ Enough. DJ Felly Fell. Elephant Man. I thought he was dead as well. Eric Sermon, Famlay, Fat Joe. That's the bloke who runs the football club over the road. Flavour, Flav. That's a coffee. Freeway, which is what most Americans go to work on in the morning. Ghostface Killer. Havoc. Henry Rollins. Hip Hop. I thought he was in that horrible heavy metal. I used to go to college with a bloke who used to listen to the Rollins band all the time. Ice-T. Joe Budden, which I think is running for president in America. Kimora Lee. Lil Flip. Lil Kim. Ludacris. Playing along at home. Mac 10. Memphis Bleak. Method Man. NORE. Omar Lips. Oh, was it Omar Lips or Omar Epps? Omar Epps, sorry. Sorry, Omar. Got your name wrong there, mate. Do apologise. Prodigy. Redman. Scarface. Al Pacino. Sean Paul. Shauna. Slick Rick. Snoop Dogg. And if you haven't heard of that one. Sticky Fingers. Warren G. Nate Dogg's not on there. WC. All the jokes. God, that's endless. I'll move quickly on. And we've got Zibbit. Yeah, fun for all the family. Def Jam, New York, fight for New York. Interestingly enough, though, this was £1 from Bernardo's. I didn't realise until I went to CEX about 3 shops down. They got it in there. Now, I've had to swap the box out on this one because it wasn't a great box. There was a bit missing. Well, basically the entire top was missing off it. And I thought, I'm not buying that because I probably haven't got a spare Xbox at home. Xbox box at home. I thought, I'm not buying that. I'm going to leave it on the shelf. Going to CEX and they're selling that game for £5. And I thought, bugger, I'm going to go back and get it for £1. So, yeah, I got that for £1. CEX at £5. Bit of a win. So, yeah. So, yeah, all those games there. I don't think it was a bad haul for 3 medium chips and a cone of chips. Great. So that's not too bad at all, that. 1, 2, 6, 10 games. Anyhow, 10 games. Yeah, 10 games for £8.40. That's about right, isn't it? We're happy with that. Right, so Monday the 4th is a bit of a waste of time, so we move on to Thursday the 7th. And I wish I'd known the weather forecast because having planned my week out, the forecast on Tuesday was for absolutely terrible weather here on Thursday. Now our plan on the Wednesday was to sort of go through our garden. I've got quite a... living in my parents' house, my parents' old house. I've got quite a long garden. And me and Mrs. Bear are not gardeners in the slightest, you know. Down to me, I'd be going out there with a flamethrower and just... you know, is that a weed or not? I've got no idea. Pull the bugger out and throw it away. Yeah, so we spent about 4 hours doing it on Wednesday, and it just started to rain, and so we can't go any further. We filled 2 giant rubble bags full of garden waste. So I said, well, we're not going to do it tomorrow because the weather forecast may be terrible. We'll come back on Friday and do it. Well, of course, turns out what happened was on Thursday was that the bad weather we were meant to get went further north. So all the poor people in Sheffield and Rotherham and Doncaster got the worst of that weather up there. And we had a nice day, so we thought, oh, great. So I thought, well, it's going to be a nice day. I'm going to go off and do a bit of bear trawling. And then we picked the garden up on Friday. Of course, what happened on Friday was we saw the forecast on Thursday night. The forecast for Friday was a lovely day. And the forecast for Saturday, which is my usual day going out, was absolutely terrible. So if I'd actually looked, the weather forecast changed so much, if I'd have kept my eye on it during the week, I'd have moved all my days around. But anyway. But needless to say, I got... 3 trips out in this week, and we got the garden done, which for us is a win. We don't usually say we're going to do stuff and then do it. We just sort of say, yeah, we'll do that this week, and then we just spend all week on our backsides eating crisps. Right, so let's do some more pickups. This is from Thursday the 7th, One Town Centre, and can't remember how much I spent, but there's some peripherals. Peripherals, yeah, we like peripherals, don't we? I did actually get the peripherals box out the other day because I had an idea of moving some stuff around in my, I should say my spare bedroom, because that's the bedroom anybody comes to stay stays in, and it's just full of my stuff at the moment. And I didn't realise how many peripherals and light guns and joysticks and lightsabers and Skylanders and all sorts of rubbish like that is sitting there. You know, the sort of stuff that makes a David Attenborough weep at night. The sort of stuff that, you know, seagulls would happily nosh on if it was thrown into the sea. There's so much of it there. It really is horrendous. And I thought that's going to be a video in itself, and I looked at it, I thought that's technically 2 videos because there's that much stuff there. So we're not going to do that one. So let's go through some more PlayStation 1 stuff. Where do we get this one from? These 3 were cash converters. I don't usually buy sports games, but like I said, if it's £1, I will buy it if I haven't got it. And this is football on the PlayStation 1. I do own This Is Football 2002, but I've never played this before. Now, you're going to have to bear with me on these, because in some ways, all these PlayStation 1 games have got something wrong with them. This one is missing the top hinge. But I'm going to show you that it's got the manual. Manual, nice condition manual as well. Don't look like it's been used much. There's the disc. You can see that. I'll put it all back together as if by magic. Now I've got to be honest with you, I knew they were all damaged in some way when I bought them. So, and there's a little crack across the back of the bottom of this one as well, which you may or may not be able to see. Probably can't there, but that's the back of the box anyway. Someone's written 7404, which is probably the amount of times they played it before they traded it in. But it's got a very good write-up on the back. It does say it's meant to be a very good game, but I've never played it, so I can't really comment. I think if it'd been that good, they'd still be making them to this day, or made a few more versions. I don't think it ever made it. Did it make it? I think it may have made it as far as PlayStation 3. Got a horrible, and probably the Xbox 360. Got a horrible feeling there's one with Stephen Gerrard on the front of it. Maybe 2006, something like that. 2007. Don't know. Now these 2 were 49p each, and you'll see why they were 49p each. The first one is Simpsons Wrestling, which, let's be honest with you, has got a crackingly crap reputation, but somebody did give it 95%. I tell you something, that must have been a good lunch, or a couple of weeks in the Bahamas. Again, this one's actually got the top hinge, but no, the top hinge there, but no bottom hinge, so it falls apart when you open it up. There's the disc. I've got to say, for the poor condition of the outsides, all 3 of the innards on these ones were actually pretty good. There we go. I've never played Simpsons Wrestling, but its reputation seems to precede it, as in it's not very good. And then this is the... because you don't mind the Simpsons when it's trying to be the Simpsons, like the Simpsons game, or Simpsons Road Rage, or Simpsons Hit and Run. But when you're trying to do things like Simpsons Skateboarding, or Simpsons Wrestling, or Simpsons Othello, or whatever, it just doesn't work. People want the Simpsons to be the Simpsons doing Simpsons stuff. I mean, I haven't watched the Simpsons for flipping 10 years at least. I think probably around about season 10 when it started to go downhill, and that was, how many years ago was that now? 20? Near enough? Because I was watching it again the other day, just watching seasons 9 and 10, and then I sort of remember that would have been about 250, and then I sort of remember the 300th episode, and I thought it was going downhill before then. So I know it's a cool thing to say, oh yeah, Simpsons is rubbish, but it used to be compulsive Sunday night watching. Me and my mate Neil, if we first thing we say, after a Sunday, we said, "You see the new Simpsons Sunday?" Yeah, it's good, wasn't it? Yeah. And it started going, yeah, it's all right, wasn't it? Yeah. 49p, and then this one is also 49p, and you'll see why. Because it's Action Bass, fishing game on the PlayStation 1. Oh, I was made up, I tell you. Made up when I walked in and saw that one. Now, what's wrong with this one? Everything's wrong with this one. Firstly, and the first time I've seen this for quite some time, the spindles are cracked. So spindle's missing, half a spindle on that one. This does have the hinges intact, but they're both missing the nodules on them, so they won't actually hold in. There's the manual. Interesting enough, this game doesn't actually have the maker's logo on it, but I can tell you it's Take-Two Interactive Software who made this game, but there's no actual trace of a software house on here at all, anywhere. Nothing on the front. Usually you'll have something on the front, and there is definitely nothing on the back. But yeah, so 49p fishing game. There we go. On the PlayStation 1. I am looking forward to playing that. So those came out of cash converters. There was one other game I picked up, which was a PlayStation 1 title, which came out of a charity shop for £1. And it is London Racer, which I hadn't got before. And the good thing about this one is there's nothing wrong with it. Everything is as it should be. So we got disc and manual. There was a couple of other PlayStation 1 games, and then one was 007 Racing. There's the back of the box, which was £3, which I didn't think was worth paying it. And there was another game which was I can't remember what it was called now. I think it may have been one of the rally games which I'd already got. Interesting on this one, I'm wondering how old that illustration is from, because that's a K-Reg car. Now this game probably would have been about 1999, which over here would have been up to something like MNPR, probably up to an S or a T-Reg, so I mean it's quite an old car on the front there. And also I think it's one of the old Rovers the police used to drive as well, so this is a severely old game. This dates it by about 20 years, that cover, easily 20 years. It's also got, someone's traded this into a place called Another World. No, not the game, but a computer exchange which used to take award-winning games, cassette consoles, DVDs and music CDs. This probably would have run about the turn of the millennium, and they had branches in Hanley. Was that Hawley? Hanley 01782 number, at Derby, Leicester, Nottinghamshire and Wolverhampton. Not there anymore, but yeah, so always nice to find little things like that in there. But that was £1. Right, what we've got now. Got the charity shop pickups, and I'll do the CEX stuff last of all. PlayStation 3. I've not picked up any of those for quite some time. One of the actual collections I can actually get a few games for. But it's getting more and more difficult now to find PlayStation 3 games outside of CEX and cash converters. I don't know what it is. They seem to get quite an abundance, and then all of a sudden they seem to have dried up now. And we were saying this a few months ago. Great time to buy stuff like this, and I think people have been buying stuff like that because it's all disappeared out of the charity shops. It's now all in CEX. Of course, if you're trying to look for games that are like 50p or £1, very few of those games now that aren't sports titles. 360 is slightly different. There is more variety £1 and under, but PlayStation 3 £1 and under tends to be either PlayStation Move games or sports games. This one, however, was a charity shop pickup for £1. Assassin's Creed game. This is Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, where you get to become a pirate. Yeah. And it also came with exclusive 60-minute gameplay of something else, which I think is actually in here. Yes, where is it? 60-minute for the Aveline missions. The download code is there. I'll quick word about download code shortly. I'm going to talk to you about those. I was messed up at the start. Damn. I'll talk to you about that a bit later. Just adding another 10 minutes onto the video. There's the back of that. So that was £1 from the Cat Protection League. Thank you very much, cats. Who'd have thought cats play Assassin's Creed games? I had no idea. I was loading something. What's it doing now? Hello. Oh, there we go. It's just loading that back up again. I thought we were going to do something like loading the game I haven't got or something, or tell me it's overheating maybe. I don't know. The other charity shop pickup was PlayStation 2. The only one PlayStation 2 game I picked up, and I can now pick up because I filled all my space. I have no space left for PlayStation 2. What are we going to do? I don't know. It's another story for another day. This is CSI, 3 Dimensions of Murder. I am not a CSI fan in the slightest, but this was rather a nice clean copy of it, and I thought it's probably a bit silly not to pick up a decent copy, whereas probably if I went to CEX or something like that and I'd sell it for 50p, it'd have, you know, sort of bits of spaghetti bolognese attached to it or something. But yeah, it's based on a TV series. Again, one of these great phrases: work alongside your favourite CSI characters. God dear me. Yeah, I played that on the Wii, and I was distinctly one of the games on the Wii. I think I've got it's up there. I can't see it. I think it's two games on the Wii maybe, and distinctly unimpressed with either of them. So no. And then these last three came out of CEX. Again, this on the GameCube. Yeah, GameCube. NHL 2003, which was £1. Like I said, GameCube games for £1. I don't care what they are, I will be buying those. I've got this on Xbox, I think. That's the second hockey game I've got for the GameCube. I've also got NHL Hits 2002-2003. But if it's anything like the old NHL games used to be on the Mega Drive, I must be quite happy with that. If it's nothing like it, I shall not be very happy with it. But again, now it's complete for £1. I kind of made that many of them because NHL isn't that popular over here. I'm pretty sure that colour there is not the UK version. It's probably going to be France or something like that, or Norway or somewhere. I don't know. You can usually tell if you don't know that. By the way, if you look at that if you see a triangle there, I'll just show you one of my Wii games on the quality title there, Surf's Up. But you know it's a green triangle on there, and I think that is for the UK version. The pink triangle Nintendo uses for something completely different. I've got purple, I've got yellow. I think that's probably all I've got actually. Purple, yellow, and indigo. There's an indigo one as well. So about 3 or 4 different colours I've got anyway. Well, the Australian one now. Where's Grover? Grover, come back. No, that's just got a G on it. I don't know. Yeah, go and check your boxes anyway, because it'll tell you. And then original Xbox. Now here's a novelty for you. I was absolutely stunned to find this out. Not only was there this genre of game on the Xbox, bit of a giveaway there, but also by who made it. And this is Procast Sports Fishing by Capcom. So when they stopped making Street Fighter 2 games, they went on and started making fishing games. Now it's cost me £1.50, which is a bit more than I like to pay, but it's a fishing game for the Xbox. And as far as I'm aware, there's only this and a couple of maybe 2 games. So I've done a bit of research. Yeah, I've done a bit of research. Getting obsessed by buying fishing games. But yeah, I think there's only maybe 1, maybe 2 Xbox games on that one. Got some peripherals for the Xbox 360 as well. Show you that in a second. I did show you that game earlier. I managed to pick up an Xbox Live camera for 50p. It's absolutely nothing special about it. It's also a bit grubby and needs a bit of tidy up, but it does work. I plugged it into the laptop actually, and it picked it up, and so with our computer running through Linux, so it worked absolutely fine running through that. Its resolution wasn't great, but it actually looks a lot better than a lot of web cameras. But yeah, the real controversy with that You're in the Movies game was they used this, and apparently it wasn't really very good. It should have used something in the technology like Kinect, but they never upgraded it. And basically you're paying $60 for a game and a really basic web camera. And then for £3, because after I bought Band Hero, I thought, well, if I can buy one of these, I can play it. And I've also got a couple of games I can't play as well because I don't own one of these or any plastic guitar. So I thought, well, I'll buy myself one of them, which is the Xbox 360 wireless microphone, which is very good actually. Runs off a couple of batteries. Take the top out there, see, it comes off there. Battery compartments around there. What's great about this, which I can't show you because I put the Xbox 360 away, but it's got the 360 logo there, and also you'll notice it's got some black bits on there. If you're not familiar with these things, these actually light up. So that logo there lights up. That lights up. You can choose different. If you're playing something like Lips, which is sort of their version of SingStar, you can choose different colours that illuminate and they flash in time with the music and all sorts. It's really quite good. I wasn't overly impressed with the Lips games because there seems to be a distinct lack of decent tracks on there. I certainly can't rap anymore. Not like I could rap beforehand. But I was really struggling with we did a couple of the rap tracks on those albums, on those games. Why was I playing that? Why didn't I film it? Well, there's a very good reason for that, which I'm not going to go into. Well, I can't go into, because I can't sing to save my life. But that's never stopped me before. There's a couple of tracks on there I was playing, singing Always on My Mind by the Pet Shop Boys, and Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, and Yellow by Coldplay. And yeah, I had a bit of fun with that. But yeah, £3. You can actually buy the Lips ones, which has got the Lips branding on them, which I don't think are any more different. But it's actually quite a good bit of kit, that. And like I said, £3, wireless microphone. It's quite hefty as well. You certainly do feel as if you've got you're holding on to something there. Before we get any more suggestive with that and drop it on the floor, which we've already done, let's move on to the final game of the pickups this week. And Wii game, only the second Wii game I managed to pick up. And it's Mary King's Riding School 2. With a horse which appears to have, you can see that, they're robotic legs. They really must have been struggling to sell this sequel. Also must have been at some point there's been a Mary King's Riding School. Why is this was £2.50, which is a shocking amount to spend on a horse game, but it's a horse game. 18 months of fun, laughter, pickups and horse games. And you're not going to see much off the back of that, but yeah, Mary King also provides sort of training on it as well, and vocal instruction, and yeah, so but there must have been Mary King's Riding School 1 at some point. They may be worth tracking down or not, I don't know. But yeah, that was £2.50, so a little bit more spent. About £13 I think it was, with the microphone, the camera and those other games. They're about £13, £13.50 spent, something like that. So about £22 for all that lot there, which is, you know, got the peripherals thrown in there, pretty good going I think. Again, never use anything outstanding there, is there? I mean, don't buy the good games, do I? Now yes, download codes, very quickly remembering that. I've been going through some of my old Xbox 360 games, because you may notice when you're picking these things up, they've got download codes, and a lot of times people have actually used them. But I found some that in my Xbox games that haven't been used. Don't think anything particularly outstanding, but there were a couple of there was, I think, Alien Colonial Marines, which I'll put away now. I'm going to reach over there. There was a download code for an exclusive weapon which came with the game version of it. Now the map pack I think had been taken, but it was a shotgun. I mean, you could actually download the shotgun as an extra weapon. That hadn't been taken. Don't know why. There was also you remember my Alien vs Predator set? There was also a download code in here. This is the Italian one, if you remember the Italian version. But I don't even know what it was now, because it was in Italian in here. But the download code in that one hadn't been used either, which was really strange. So I think probably I've gone through about half my game, which is around about probably around about 90 to 100 of them. Hang on, I'm coming back. Probably around about 200 and just over a couple hundred games. I've gone through about half of them already, and of those that have download codes in them, quite a I've managed to have 6 or 7 downloads out of it, which I think is pretty good. It's not bad. I think there was one in Forza 2 which hadn't been used. The panel hadn't been scratched, but that must have been closed down or had run out or something like that, because even though I put the code in correctly, it kept saying it's an invalid code, and it wasn't invalid code, it was correct, which probably implies to me that they've actually closed that particular thing down now. So you may get lucky with them. So always, if you are buying these old games and there are still the downloadable codes in there, just check them out, because you never know what's going to happen. You may find that some of them will work and some of them don't, but it's fun finding out. Yeah, and on that note, it's time to finish. I hope you enjoyed that anyway. And it's been a bit of a ramble as always, but yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, not sure what's coming up next. I'll find something to put up anyway. There's quite a few things I want to do, but anyway, leave it at that. So just reminds me to say once again, thank you very much indeed for watching. Do take care, and from myself and Basil, it's bye for now.